Please, please don't close the store yet. My son, he needs one more blanket, just one more." The voice was barely above a whisper, trembling with exhaustion and desperation. 27-year-old Sloane Hendricks stood at the entrance of Home Care Essentials, her 4-year-old son Jasper clinging to her hip, his small body shivering despite being wrapped in her thin cardigan. The fluorescent lights inside the store felt like warmth itself, and she couldn't bear to watch them flicker off, to see that door lock, to face another freezing night with only one threadbare blanket between her son and the cold. Behind the customer service desk sat a man in a simple blue sweater and worn jeans, snowflakes still melting in his dark hair. He'd been working there for 3 days, restocking shelves, helping customers, learning the rhythm of the store from the ground up. 33-year-old Fletcher Grayson, CEO of the entire home care chain, was in the middle of his quarterly undercover visit, seeing his stores through the eyes of employees and customers. But nothing in his corporate training had prepared him for the raw need in this woman's eyes. "The store closed 5 minutes ago," he said gently, then paused, really looking at her, at the way she held her son protectively, at the redness around her nose from crying or cold or both, at the canvas bag on her shoulder that seemed to hold everything she owned. "But let me see what I can do." Fletcher glanced at the actual store manager, Patricia, who'd been watching from the stockroom. She nodded slightly, understanding passing between them without words. "Come in," Fletcher said, holding the door wider. "Please, it's too cold out there." Sloane's relief was physical, her shoulders sagging as she stepped inside. Jasper buried his face in her neck, and Fletcher heard him whisper, "Mama, you did it! You asked, just like you said!" The word struck something in Fletcher's chest. She'd had to gather courage just to ask for help. "What kind of blanket does he need?" Fletcher asked, walking her toward the bedding section. Sloane's voice was thick with emotion. "Something warm, anything warm. We're staying at the community shelter on Oak Street, and they only provide one blanket per person. But Jasper has been sick, and the room is so drafty, and I've been covering him with my coat at night, but it's not enough, and I got paid today. I can afford one more blanket, just one." Fletcher felt his throat tighten. He thought of his own childhood bedroom, the layers of expensive bedding his parents had provided without thought. He thought of the quarterly reports showing home care's profits, the numbers that had become abstract, disconnected from moments like this. "How long have you been at the shelter?" he asked carefully, pulling several thick fleece blankets from the shelf. 2 weeks, Sloane admitted. "I was working as a home health aide, but my car broke down, and I missed 3 shifts getting to clients. They had to let me go. I found work at a diner now, but I haven't saved enough for first month rent and deposit yet." I touched the softest blanket with gentle fingers. This one would be perfect for him. Fletcher checked the price tag. $42. He watched Sloane count out exact bills from an envelope, her hands shaking slightly. He knew without asking that this was probably most of what she'd earned that day. "Wait," he said suddenly. "These blankets, they're part of a promotion. Buy one, get 2 free. It started today." Sloane's eyes widened. "Really? I didn't see any signs." "It's new," Fletcher said, the lie coming easily because the truth behind it was absolute. "Let me get you 2 more, different sizes, so you both have one, and one extra for really cold nights." Patricia appeared beside them, catching on immediately. "That's right," she confirmed. "Corporate sent the memo this morning. We just haven't put up the signs yet." Tears spilled down Sloane's cheeks as Fletcher handed her 2 more blankets, thick and warm and soft. I don't know how to thank you." "You already did. You advocated for your son. You asked for help when you needed it. That takes more courage than most people have." As Fletcher rang up the purchase, Jasper whispered to his mother, "Can I show him?" Sloane hesitated, then nodded. The little boy reached into their canvas bag and pulled out a small notebook, its pages worn and filled with careful handwriting. "Mama writes down every kind thing people do for us," Jasper explained, his voice small but proud. "So we remember, so we can do them for other people someday when we're not cold anymore." Fletcher's hand stilled on the register keys. He looked at Sloane, who met his gaze with quiet dignity. "I don't want him to grow up thinking the world is cruel, so I show it it's not. Even when things are hard, people are good. Like you, like Patricia. You stayed open, you helped us." Fletcher thought about the reports sitting on his real desk, the ones about closing underperforming stores, cutting costs, maximizing efficiency. He thought about how many Sloans and Jaspers those numbers might represent, how many moments of desperate need his decisions might create or prevent. That night, after Sloan and Jasper left wrapped in new blankets, after Patricia locked the real closing, Fletcher sat in his hotel room and made calls. To his VP of operations, to his head of HR, to his financial officer.
By morning, Home Care Essentials had new policies. A community assistance program offering essential items at cost to shelter residents. Partnerships with local social services. Emergency hire provisions for people in housing crisis. It wasn't enough, Fletcher knew, but it was a beginning. 3 months later, Fletcher returned to that same store, this time unannounced, this time as himself. Patricia greeted him warmly, proud to show off their new community corner, where items were donated or sold at dramatic discounts to those in need. "There's someone here who asks about you sometimes," Patricia mentioned. "She works at the diner across the street now. She and her son have an apartment. She volunteers here on weekends, helping other families." Fletcher felt his heart quicken. "Sloan?" "She wanted to thank the employee who helped her that night. I never told her it was you." That evening, Fletcher walked across the street to the diner. He saw her immediately, taking orders with a genuine smile, Jasper drawing at the corner booth during her shift, homework spread around him. When she brought Fletcher his coffee, their eyes met, and recognition flickered across her face. "It's you," she breathed, "the man from that night. You're—" She glanced at his business card on the table, placed there intentionally. "You're the CEO. You were the CEO that whole time." "I was," Fletcher admitted, "and you taught me more in 10 minutes than I'd learned in 10 years of business school." Sloane's eyes filled. "The blankets, the promotion that didn't exist." "It exists now," Fletcher said gently, "permanently, because of you. Because you showed me that numbers on reports are people, real people who need help, who deserve dignity, who have the courage to ask when everything tells them not to." Sloane reached into her apron pocket and pulled out the small, worn notebook. "We still keep this," she said softly, "Jasper and I. We write down every kindness, and we just started a new page titled Kindnesses We've Given. It's getting longer." She paused, her voice thick with emotion. "You didn't just give us blankets that night. You gave us hope. You made us believe that asking for help wasn't weakness, that people would listen." Fletcher felt something break open in his chest, something that had been closed for too long. "And you gave me something back," he said quietly. "You reminded me why any of this matters, why business isn't about profit margins, it's about people. It's about making sure that when someone's son needs one more blanket, the store stays open, the help is there, the kindness is real." Jasper looked up from his homework, recognizing Fletcher now. "Mama, it's the blanket man. Can we add him to the kindness book again for all the new things?" Sloane smiled through tears, and Fletcher realized he was crying too. "Yes, sweetheart, we can. Right at the top of the new page, the man who listened when we needed someone to hear us." That evening, as snow fell again outside the diner windows, Fletcher understood something profound. Kindness isn't just about grand gestures or corporate policies. It's about staying open 5 minutes past closing. It's about seeing people, really seeing them in their moment of need. It's about understanding that sometimes one more blanket isn't just a blanket, it's warmth, safety, dignity, and hope all wrapped together. And sometimes the greatest gift we can give someone isn't what they asked for. It's believing they deserved to ask in the first place. Sloane had asked for 1 blanket. Fletcher had given her 3. But what she'd given him was immeasurable. The reminder that behind every transaction, every policy, every decision, there are real people with real needs and real courage. And when we choose to see them, when we choose to help, when we choose kindness over convenience, we don't just change their story, we change our own. The store had stayed open, the blankets had been given, and 2 lives had been forever altered by the simple, profound act of one person choosing to help another in their moment of need. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Let's spread more stories of kindness and hope together.